everybody, welcome back to the Shell Shack. So today is redemption day and I got my shipment in, so we are going to do some redemption because our shell the other day, yeah, that took a lot of extra work and I didn't get that marbling I was looking for, anything like that. So we're going to do finally this mold. This is from Let's Resin. And the great thing about Let's Resin molds is that they tell you how much that you're going to need. So this is going to take about 11 fluid ounces. So we're going to make sure we're at least close to that. And I'm going to take a piece of tape that I keep handy over here, and I'm going to tape off the top of this mold. It looks like it's got some dust or something, and then there's something that got right there, so we're going to have to get that out. We don't want anything bad in our mold. And I'm just going real gentle. I don't want to scratch my mold, which I have yet have one scratch. Now I have had molds go bad from overusing them or using them as much as I want to, but then I replace the molds. But I've never had one scratch, and I've put some pretty shady stuff in some of these. All right, so what I did off camera before we got started is I pulled out all of our supplies and I went ahead and measured out some of the Eco Resin. Now this time it actually is Eco Resin. This is I've been trying out different versions of it. That's why I get confused on the name, because I keep trying different names to see, okay, like, can I get one that's like in bulk but cheaper, and you know, you just try to weigh it out and see how different products work for you. So this one is the Aminofelli Eco Resin casting powder. It's still the 10-3. It's still 20 to 30 minutes of demold, 2 hours to fully cure, and this is a 3 kilogram tub, so this should last me a little bit at least. So I was happy to finally get to do this mold. I've never cast this mold before because I just got it from Let's Resin, and I've been so excited to do it, but haven't had enough powder to do it, obviously, as you saw in the last video. So anyways, we're going to try for that green and blue again this time. I'm not going with those other pigments. I haven't found a home for them yet, but I'm working on it. But I'm going to go with Good Take. This also I got off Amazon. Now I have used this before and it gives some really pretty results. So we're going to go with this. And it tells you what it's for. Concrete, cement, joints, mosaic, paving, steps, tiles, walls, clay, lime, mortar, masonry, brick, tile, grout, painting. So I think it meant to say painting. It says pointing. I can use this to do this. Oh, okay. Render, question mark, ceramic, resin, varnish, stucco, paint, etc. So maybe that doesn't mean painting because they already say paint. Pointing, whatever pointing is, if someone knows, shout it out in the comments. I also want to let you guys know, because I was kind of just getting started the other day with doing a video and everything, that I do have an eBay store. And I do have a Facebook site. So if you want to share some of your work with everybody else, we can create a really good community here. And we can share each other's work and see what we're all working on and give each other some inspiration. So I will link those down in the description. And again, I appreciate you all coming and hanging out with me in the Shell Shack. Let's get started. I'm excited. I'm excited. I know this one's going to work. And I am just wanting to see what happens this time. I'm starting to more measure my powder than my water, because what I like to do is I do it by feel. So as long as I get my pancake batter, I'm good. And I was watching another YouTuber. She's actually one of my favorites. I have several favorites, but she's one of my favorites. I love watching her. She's Louise Singleton. So I know Louise, you'll not be watching this video. If you do, I'm very fortunate and very lucky, and I want to say hello from across the pond. She is a British YouTuber that does all kinds of different mixed media arts, and she kind of I like the way she takes stuff and just like, what else can I do with this? And she has she kind of pushes things to the edge a little bit, and to see what she can make out of things. And I was watching one of her videos this morning, so always thank you to Louise for all of your inspiration. But I was watching it, and she said she was mixing hers as well, and she uses a UK brand. But I was watching her, and she's like, I want to get pancake batter, fluffy pancake batter, not crepes, not UK pancakes. I want to get those good US pancakes. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I live in the South, so I totally understood what she was talking about. Yeah, the kind that rise up and it's really thick, and you load them on with maple syrup. And now I'm making myself hungry. Good job, Sandy. But anyways, I digress. But so there's our pancake powder, or pancake batter. I'm so excited I can't even talk today. So yeah, guys, my husband is works overseas, and he comes home about 3 times a year, and he's getting ready to come home in like 2 days. So I've been busting tail out in the yard, and because we live on about half an acre, and I've been trying to like get ready the house, everything ready for him to come home. And then I got family coming into town as well. Hi Bobby, hi Tracy, hope you're watching. They're getting ready to fly in from Idaho and enjoy like some of our Florida sunshine. So we've been busting tail trying to get everything ready for them, and the hubby, who you'll get to meet. And hopefully if I could talk Tracy or Bob into it, maybe you guys will do a challenge or something. That'll be fun, because half the time I don't know what comes out of their mouth. All right, so we are at 11 fluid ounces, which is awesome because that's exactly what this mold says it holds. Remember yesterday I said I stained my cups? Look at that. That is after soap, water, sponging it out, scrubbing it, soaking it. That other green still stained all my stuff. I was a little upset about that. Anywho, but we're going to move on, because we are going to put ourselves in a positive creating mood today. So yep, we're going to use this. It's funny, they don't put the names of it. Green, because of, but it's like iron oxide pigment powder, and that they're so happy to tell you about that, but not what color it is. So we're just going to say it's really pretty green. And I'm reaching across you here. I'm going to grab a stick and scoop out some of this into, and we're going to do the same idea that we had yesterday. We're going to put this in the little pot, make it green. Now this stuff's a little stubborn too, but it eventually does go in. I made a really pretty succulent pot out of this. I'll show it to you here in a minute. But see, I mean, look at that. And that wasn't that much stirring. Remember yesterday? We were riding the struggle bus on getting this stuff to mix. And look how pretty that is. I mean, true to the color. Thank you, Good Take, for having a nice product. And then this time I decided to go with a little bit more pop blue, and it's going to do like we did last time. It's going to go right into the mica, or right into the mica. I can't talk. It's going to go right into our bucket of white here, and I'm going to give it a few little swirls, just like that, so we get that nice marble pattern we were after. And then I'm going to put my green in. Okay. I can already tell, guys, this is going to come out so much better. I'm going to need all of it, so I'm going to just have to go ham on this thing and just get all this out and use it all, because the measurement said it was, and we needed 11 fluid ounces, and that's exactly about what we made. So either we're going to be really close, or we're going to be right on the money. If I was right on the money, that would be a first. I just throwing that out there. I never, like, I'm very bad with spatial perception. Like, I can't tell you that's 3 yards away, or if it's whatever. I can't do stuff like that. Really bad with like spatial perception, perception, whatever. Really bad with that. Okay, now I'm going to give this a little swirl, and I don't want to mix it too much because I don't want to mess up our marble here. All right, and let's see what we get. I'm going to go swirly starting in the middle and then work my way out. Oh, look at that blue come through. Okay, we're gonna spend some time on these sides. And you see, I mean, I know I'm blocking some of it, but what I'm doing is I'm holding out the mold as I'm pouring around to make sure we get all the way down those sides. I don't want any bubbles like we had yet the other day. I say the other day like it was so long ago. Dude, it was yesterday. Huh. Okay. Now before I scrape that, I'm going to see what we got. Yep, just give it a good thud. Okay, now I'm going to go around this mold, going around the edges and just giving it a squish. You know, I wonder if, like, you know, when you're using resin and you spray your sides with, or you spray your molds with alcohol, I wonder if that works with this stuff. I wonder if you could, like, spray the mold and then maybe not get, like, maybe it would help the bubbles come up. I'm just going to put a little bit of, tiny bit of water in there so I can get the rest of this out. But I do wonder that, like, I wonder if you spray alcohol, like, what effect does it have on it? I know I've seen people spray it on top to get rid of bubbles, but I don't think I've seen anybody spray it in the mold itself to get it to release bubbles. So, before we get to demolding and checking out, see what our pretty bowl came out like. As you can see, I'm all cleaned up, no more gloves. I will put on gloves before demolding, but since my channel is really new and I know you guys like don't know me from Adam, it's like, why should I even be watching this person? Here are some of my projects I've done in past, so that you can see kind of what other techniques I've used and different things. So, you know, like, I kind of know what I am doing ish, but we're always learning. But so here's some of my other projects. So this was done with scrapbook paper, mica powders, and crushed glass with that pearl paint that I used on our other piece. And then I just did a nice little trim in rose gold all the way around and blended it from the paper over to where the mica powder is. So if you can see in here, it looks like pits, and there are pits. There is pits. Wow. Can't English, has the dumb. But you see there's pits. What that is mica powder doesn't actually dissolve in the Eco Resin. It colors and it makes some really cool effects and it does all different things, but it does not actually blend into the Eco Resin. So if you sprinkle it on top of your mold, and I think I'm trying to remember who it was, if it was Louise or if it was Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner. I'm trying to remember who it was now, but what they did is they sprinkled it straight onto the mold. And then, like, made different layers of different colors. You can see I got bronze and I got blue. And then on top of that, put the crushed glass. So the mix-to-mold has something to bond to. And then before putting down, and I keep saying different name brands, we're just going to say Eco Resin for now. You put down your scrapbook paper, and then you kind of hope for the best that it doesn't go underneath your scrapbook paper. So you, like, pour right on top, that holds it down. And then so then you get this. Now what I did, like I said, I put a little bit of, you can see little bit of micas in there, and I'm just blending that paper into the rest of the piece. And then I did a nice little coat of UV resin just to give it where someone could use this as a soap tray, because otherwise I mean, I could just seal it, like multiple layers of sealer would actually do the same job, but I just thought it would bring out the color if I did the UV resin. And one of my first pieces I did, just to show you how mica powder does not dissolve and it can leave like little indentations. So if you can see the indentations in there, and it's kind of apparent right on this. See, those areas of green are actually mica powder, but I managed to seal that in. But what I did is I took a big brush and I brushed some of them out, and it gave it that kind of irregular texture. And my husband says it's like, oh look, it's from Pompeii. I love like volcanoes and stuff, so I thought that was really cool. So I'm calling it my Pompeii effect. But I didn't come up with it. It was already out there. And this is another piece that I did using some purple. Now this is both mica powders, so the coloration is all mica powder. No, sorry, my bad. The purple is acrylic paint. The tan is mica powder. And you can see, and this was sealed with like an aqua glaze. The brand I use, I say aqua glaze because I'm used to hearing Louise Singleton say it on her channel all the time, so it just comes out aqua glaze. It's actually J. Dixon's gloss sealer. So sorry about that little brand confusion there. It's J. Dixon gloss sealer from Amazon. And then when it was done, I was like, maybe I have some washi tapes that might go cool with that. So what I did is I took a piece of washi tape that happened to look kind of neat with it, with the same kind of coloration, and I just wrapped it around, and then I sealed it all in multiple coats of that J. Dixon gloss sealer. So that's this piece. And then the same color as our mug, our thing today, our bowl today. This is that same green, and this was the first time I used that green. And then what I did is I used a very dilute pearl paint over it just to give it a shimmer. And this one does not have a lid. It's actually a pot for succulents. So, and that's how that came out. And I absolutely 100% love that marble effect that we got there. And I think I used less of the green pigment and swirled it more, so it didn't overtake, but it just made this really nice pattern. So anyways, enough of that. So there are times, maybe not today, maybe not yesterday, but there are times that I kind of sort of have a vision and kind of know what I'm doing. Now as I say that, everything's going to go to pot. So I've already pulled out my gloves and I've already moved them, so now I'm trying to find them. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm just gonna have to grab more, and then I'll find them when I don't need them anymore. That's okay. Nothing goes to waste, so they'll get used. I pulled them out. I was all ready because I knew we were going to be touching raw Eco Resin. So all right, let's see what we got. I have high hopes. Hopefully they don't get dashed again, but I have higher hopes than what I did the other day. All right, and I did kind of clean up my edges because I couldn't take it anymore, and it kept flaking off and getting all over my workspace. So let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all on camera, but nope. I got to kind of put it up to my body a little bit. Now don't peek. Don't peek. We all got to see what it looks like together. Oh, we got some cool things happening. I can kind of already tell. I always think like if you make noises while you demold, it makes it go better. I don't know. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, remember last video I said always put your molds back before too long so you don't mess up your mold. Now look what we have here. Look at that, like, oh, what is it? You know that like crackly ceramic kind of thing? It almost looks like that right there. Oh, that's pretty. That is really pretty. Let's see what our sides look like. Oh, you can kind of see the blue coming out. Kind of looks purple, but that was the blue mica. And there's Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks purple. Huh. Oh, it's really, you can really see it there. There was no purple in that mix, guys. That was all blue. Huh. Now, what we do with the bottom, and I like to do it while it's still kind of damp, wet, it hasn't de-watered yet, is I have some little paper, I have some sanding paper, and I have wet sanding paper too. It's just, it's out in my garage. All right, so I'm going to sand this down, and because remember we were kind of dropping it all down at the, you know, we were kind of blooping it at the last minute. So I got to do a little bit of sanding, make it all nice and smooth, and then I'll bring you guys back. All right guys, so did a bunch of sanding, and I have a few of those little Pompeii pits in the back, which is kind of what I thought was going to happen with the way it was setting up and those edges not being done, but those can be easily remedied. And I wiped it down really good, and now I'm just going to let it fully cure, and then I'll come back and we'll start seeing what we can do to this beauty. So I'm going to set that aside, and so I do have some washi tapes that I was considering putting in there, or around the edge or something. I don't know. I mean, the edge is so kind of so pretty. Maybe I don't want to do anything, but I have some washi tapes. Let's see. So something like that. I could go with something super subtle right along the top edge. This is they're little palm trees. This is a little more zingy, but I mean that's going to take up the whole side, so probably not anything this wide. If I do anything with washi tape, we're going to keep it simple. I might just do like a nice little silver ring around it or something. So yeah, in the comments, tell me what you guys would do, or would you do anything? I mean, do you just glaze it and just enjoy it as is, or would you do something else to this? I would be curious to know what you guys would think. I do love, absolutely love. I'm gonna put it kind of close, but can you guys see that? That almost like a crackle ish. You know how porcelain gets those little tiny fine little cracks or something, but it's not broken or anything. It's just part of the porcelain. That's what that reminds me of. And that is so pretty. I can't wait to see this glazed. I think it's really going to pull out these colors, and it's going to look really awesome. All right, guys, so I'll see you back, and we'll finish this thing off. Bye for now. Okay guys, so we're back. And I need to do more art and less yard work, because man, got a cramp in my hand. So we are going to use our J. Diction gloss sealer, and we are going to see if sealer brings out the beauty in this thing. I could use my my wax, but what I think I'm going to do with this pot is plant succulents in it. And I just want to make sure it's really good and sealed. And I just get these little makeup sponges and dip it in and just start working it around. One thing I do like about doing the beeswax is you don't get any swirl marks. So sometimes with this stuff you can get the swirl marks, but oh, it's the price we pay. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's bringing that color out really nice. Look at that. And I'm just working this around the whole pot. If this takes too long, I won't keep you guys. I'll just put it on a nice little time lapse. And you can see it finished out. So I had a couple of ideas. for this, doing this whole edge thing. So if we don't end up using washi tape, I was thinking maybe we do some gilded gold or silver flake, like just along the top edge, you know, just to give it a little sparkle to it, and then we leave it at that. So, but when we get this glazed, we'll take a look at it and see like what would look better. This is why I hope you guys kind of subscribe to my channel, so that you can give me ideas. It's all for me. I'm gonna be selfish like that and say it's all for me. Now, I think we all kind of benefit from each other's input, and we all benefit from listening to others' ideas. I do, one of my other little things I like to do when I'm stressed out is I do fluid art pour paintings. And when I go to shows and stuff with them, like, to me, I see a wave, and to others they're like, oh, there's an octopus in there, or a sea dragon or something. And I always get different responses all the time, and I love it because I'm like, I would have never even thought that that looked like a sea dragon or an octopus, but once they say it, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, it kind of does. So I think we just benefit from each other's inspiration and creativity. So that's what I love about an artist community. We help each other out. And let's see, did I get all of the inside? Let's make sure. This is gonna have water and soil and stuff like that in it, so we don't want any issues with that. Okay, I think I got all the inside. I'm gonna flip it and do the bottom. Now this is after I've let it sit for like 2 hours, so that gives it a chance to get some of the water out and stuff. I'm only going to seal the bottom like once, or very lightly, just so I don't get the mica powder or the, you know, the color on my hands anymore. And then I'm going to leave it because I do want it to still be able to get rid of some of that water if there's still water in there. Okay, I'm going around the outer edge. Just moving this around as I need to. I will tell you, this glaze is really sticky, so when you get it on your fingers, I mean, it comes right off soap and water, comes right off, but it is really sticky. Just to let you know that. It's not resin sticky though, but it is sticky. It's all gooey. Alright, almost there. And sorry about the length of the last video. I think it ended up being like 40 minutes. If that's too long for y'all, you let me know in the comments. Just let me know, hey, you know, you could skip some, or hey, that was a little too long. And then I'll try just to stick to the super important bit. So if you want to do something like this and create your own personal disasters at home, that you have enough information to do it, but not sitting around watching me model on forever. So just let me know. And if you like longer videos, let me know that too. If you like longer videos, we could do multiple projects. So I'm all about doing multiple projects. And this might end up being like something I don't even hardly dress up at all, so just giving that a wipe just to make sure I don't have any extra. Okay, so that's it all glazed, and it just leaves a nice subtle clear coat, just very subtle. Just working out some swirl marks that are inside the bottom. You could really see that crackling too. I'll hold it up to the camera so you could see it. But look how that crackling effect kind of came out through there. That's really pretty. It's kind of a smoky marble to it, not those clear, you know, clear marble lines, but kind of a smoky marble line. Okay, we're gonna put that aside, and I'm actually gonna work on another project. Maybe I'll film it, and we'll see how it comes out. So, because I really want to pour this bowl again, because now I know some tips and tricks. So I'll tell you what, I'll pour the bowl again. Gonna basically, different colors though. I can't have like 80 green bowls up on my counter to sell. So what I'll do is I'll do it off camera, and then when I get the result, I will post it. So I'll post it as part of this video so you can see like what different colors. The only thing I'll tell you, the only thing I'm going to do different, and that's all that. The only thing I'm going to do different is I'm going to make the powder, I'm going to make the mixture thinner, and I'm not going to add so much of these, like the darker color of the colors I pick, because I'll still do like a mica swirl and then a pigment. So I'll just, that's the only difference that I'll do, and then I'll show you guys how that came out. All right, see you later. Bye now. All right, well, that was fun. That was 2 hours of work off camera. Believe me guys, you would not want to suffer the pain that I just suffered getting this thing to work. Okay, so I told you all that I was going to do a second piece, and that we were going to try a few different things to see if we could get that stuff to work better. And I'll show you the end result of bowl number 1 that we demolded earlier. So there we are. And I decided to go with the washi tape to give it just a little bit of zing. And there's our bowl from earlier. All right, I could have stopped there. I could have, but I didn't. And so I figured out that this Eco Resin stuff is fussy. So I thought, well, I'll make my mixture thinner, and that way it'll get down to all the little grooves, and it'll get down to all the little spaces, and it'll go like, we'll be able to pour it fast, and then and all that. What I learned is that there's one of two things going on. The more water, the faster it reacts, or that my water was warm because it's my shed basin water basically. So maybe it was a little warm, and the warmth of the water set it off quicker. I got to do some research on that, because this stuff was going off so fast. It was like I was working with you know, that dark red clay before I could even get it out of the pouring cup. So I think the more I did it, the warmer, you know, the more water I used, the warmer the water, aka disaster. And insert here so this whole section of the mold was absolutely exposed. There was nothing on it. And so unless I want a really big bracelet, I had to do something about it. So, and my stuff was already starting to set up. So I said, I'm just gonna go old school clay, make a bowl fashion, and I just literally, like, I scooped it like it was like a cake. It went on like chocolate frosting. It really did. Not that delicious though. Chocolate frosting. And then I got my hands into it to really smooth it out, and I went to town on it. And then so I let it cure, and I pulled it out of the mold, and I said, you know, this kind of reminds me of, patinaed like copper, because this orangey color looks like the copper color, and then you patinas into this kind of bluish green color. And I said, well, let's just, you know, everything's all messed up anyway, let's just roll with it. And so I got out my some copper flakes. This bottle was jam-packed full when I started. So I got out my copper flakes, I got out my gilding adhesive, and I went to town on it. I wanted it very rough and whatever. I think I achieved that. So I did that, and then I decided on the bottom that I was gonna go with like a little bit of a darker metallic, along with some like gold. And I just basically took pigment powder, and I literally with a sponge rubbed the pigment powder into this, just to give it a rough hewn old school pot looking thing, because it was already rough. So I didn't need to help it there. It was doing a great job on its own. So, but I figured, well, let's just roll with that look. And then I've glazed it. So I did just one layer of glaze so far. I'm kicking it around if I'm going to do a second layer. And this is what I ended up with. Man. So I went from this beautiful marbly green, which is still gorgeous, I still love it, to, hey, let's do it better, and ending up with this. Hey, some people, this is their aesthetic. I still have like little burnishing bits coming out. I haven't sealed the bottom yet. I'm still waiting on all that glue and everything to cure. So I haven't sealed the bottom. When I get you your final pictures, it'll have the bottom done. But so I went from really pretty green to absolutely thrown in the trash to this. And really, I mean, it's probably, honestly, it's not you, it's me. No, seriously though, it probably is me. This was a new powder I told you I was experimenting with, and to see if I could go with a bigger bulk amount and maybe a little on the cheaper side, and maybe that's what did it to me, I don't know. But it has a like micro quick work time to it, and it very well could be the temperature of my water. So I think for tomorrow's video we are going to conduct an experiment, and I'm going to have a backup project that's actually going to come out really nice on standby just in case. But we're going to do an experiment. I'm going to put some water in the refrigerator, get it down to about 40 degrees, and we're going to mix it with that. And I'm going to have like a little small mold, because I'm not going to pour something this big anymore until I know what the heck's going on with this stuff. So small mold, water's going to be at 40 degrees. We'll put a pretty color into it. We'll make it pretty, and maybe one of the critters or something. And we're going to see if temperature affects this, because that's all I can figure, because you know, like resin, when it gets warm it cures faster. So I'm wondering if the bonding agent in this powder actually responds to temperature. And I've seen, like, Claire did a video the other day on Claire's Crafty Corner. She did a video the other day where she was working in her, or maybe it was a long time ago video, I just happened to see it the other day. Anyway, she was working in her shop, which is on her attic level of her house, and it was super warm that day, and her stuff was curing like uber fast. So I'm wondering if the heat is what helps it cure like regular resin, and if we cool the water down, can we get a longer work time? So that's where it stands. This might be somebody's aesthetic. Maybe when I polish it all up I'll like it more, but I thought it looked like aged patinaed copper. But anyways, but really this guy is the star of the show. So here's our pot all done. I still I do want to do one more layer of sealant over the washi tape to seal it in for good. I might even do a spray acrylic just to give it a really good coat. But that's our bowl, and this inside I'm absolutely obsessed with, and I think that came out really nice. So anyways guys, with that, I'll throw some pictures at the end, not the one in the trash, I promise, and to show you guys these all done and with a nice pretty background. So thank you so much for sticking it out with me. We're learning things, we're doing stuff, and hopefully we'll get this stuff mastered. I have a whole ton of it that just came in today, and if this stuff is crap, yeah, it's going to be a long week or so, because I can't have these kind of things keep happening to me every single night. Alrighty. No, we'll get it figured out. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me in the Shell Shack. Please hit the like button down below, or if you dislike it, hit that. Respond either way. Let me know if you want longer videos, shorter videos, or if you have any ideas about anything that happened in the video, or just things you'd like to see. Let me know, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye now. Bye.